I hope that's on. I did press it.
Okay, here's Haley, and she has a nice audience of 4 nice people. And Mr. Cormany was another audience member. And Haley, you may go ahead.
We gather here today to celebrate the life of a man who has shown one of the greatest displays of humanity when a time when mercy was forgotten. Oskar Schindler was unlike any other Nazi. He was an arrogant, drunken, womanizing, and also married businessman who had 2 illegitimate children. Oskar Schindler also liked to take big risks. Him and his wife Emily were saviors amongst a merciless killing machine in a time of terror. Oskar Schindler was born on April 28, 1908, in a small province of Austro-Hungarian monarchy. He had a series of jobs, one of which included working for the military foreign intelligence. And after that, he became a lucrative businessman. And with the SS officials in Poland, arriving in Poland, he saw a major business opportunity as a Nazi man to make some money with cheap workforce labor, which included the Jewish people. He opened Amalia, which was an enamelware factory. That opened in November of 1939, and at its highest peak had over 1,000 Jews being employed. Soon after the opening of Amalia, Jews were being transported from the ghettos into labor camps. And Schindler's workers took sanctuary in his factory, just like an outlaw takes sanctuary in a church. Oskar used his contacts and high relationships to pay off the necessary SS officials to allow his essential Jewish workers to remain safe working in his factory. As the shift in the war effort changed, all Jews were moved to concentration camps. Even there, Schindler guarded his workers just as much as a mother guards her children. By setting up a compound, making defective bullets, which from an outsider's perspective made it look like he was supporting the German war effort, when in reality he was creating his famous list of essential Jewish workers. But all in all, he saved 1,300 Jews, and he was now broke. Schindler used his plant status as a business essential to the war effort to save the Jewish people from the deportation to Auschwitz. He needed to be able to also keep up production and to make up money for the German army, or so he said. He often falsified the records and documents of his workers that were inexperienced and unskilled into skilled metal workers and mechanics. Although Schindler began his venture as a personal mission to gain as much money as he possibly could, it evolved into an infatuation with saving as many of his Jews as he possibly could. A few examples of this is when Schindler's Jews were supposed to be transported to his factory in Brunlitz, they were diverted into Auschwitz and Gross-Rosen. He himself went to Gross-Rosen and secured the men's release, as well as his German secretary went to Auschwitz to negotiate 7 Reichsmarks for the women's release. This is the only known case in Auschwitz that has had such a large amount of people been released from Auschwitz while the gas chambers were still active. Another example of this is 120 Jewish working men working in a quarry plant in Auschwitz were being moved westward in sealed cattle cars with no food, no water, and it was in the middle of winter. After 7 days, they were frostbitten and starving. They arrived at Brunlitz. Here is where Oskar and his wife cared for these sickly, frostbitten people. And these were 107 survivors. They arranged for proper burial and Jewish rites for the rest of the corpses. In total, there are 6,000 descendants of Schindler Juden. In 1962, the Yad Vashem, or the the Israeli Holocaust Museum, gave Oskar Schindler the name Righteous Among Nations, and also planted a tree in his honor among the Avenue of the Righteous. And in 1993, his wife Emily had an award given to her from the U.S. with the Medal of Remembrance in honor of her husband. This medal is presented to Oskar for his strong defeats in the Holocaust. Now, Schindler ended up being penniless and divorced, but he had his Jews and his descendants had been buried in in Jerusalem, with the inscription, "Unforgettable rescuer of 1,200 persecuted Jews." When asked the question of why, one of the survivors had said, "I don't know what his motives were, but I don't give a damn. What is important is that he saved us." A statement in which a greedy Nazi turned generous protector will forever continue to be recognized and honored to this day.